whose acquaintance I've not met. My name is Michael Stammet, and this summer I will be serving once again as the summer camp director for the Cub World Adventure Camp season. I also tackle all of the non-summer usage of our camps and spookery, if you're a fan of that as well. So yeah, I'm the camp director. Nice to see you all. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, and I am Alex Reitz. I'm the camping director for the Danbury Council, and I also serve as the Camp Friedlander camp director and will continue to do so in 2021. Now, let's get started. What's Cub World Adventure Camp? Cub World Adventure Camp is one of the Midwest's premier Cub Scouting facilities. It really is a beautiful piece of property that we have tailor-made to have Cub Scouts camp on it. Moving on, I'm going to go over the agenda for the evening quickly. So we're going to start out with why do we go to Cub Camp? Move on to updates on our adventure camp, our Weeblos camp, some more 2021 enhancements, some assumptions with COVID. Then we're going to move on to the question sections of the evening. Now, special feature on this, we have Jason Pigg here, who's our Assistant Director of Support Services. He's going to be the one tallying down all of our questions, and then he's going to pose them to Stammet, Rachel, and I during the question session. Please direct all of your questions to Jason-questions. And then we're going to move on to the closing after that. So, take it away.
So this can't be stressed enough. And that's the why you're here. You're here for your units, you're here for the youth, but why Cub World? Why camping at Cub World compared to the activities that you would be doing on a pack level? And I'll answer that because there are few places like Cub World, precious few, where you can do all of the things that are available and have that much fun in one spot. When your Cubs joined your pack, this is how we deliver on the promise of what they were going to get. When they were recruited, when they came to your pack meeting with confused parents like, hey, my kid got this flyer, what is Cub Scouts? This is how we actually deliver on all the fun that they can have. And it's fun, but it's fun with a purpose. Many of you have heard me say that if your kids can shoot at, swim in, and climb on things, they're happy. And Cub World is the one place they can do all of those things safely and under the correct supervision in one spot. It's spectacular. Now, you've got a lot of different camping outcomes that will result in your Cubs becoming better human beings. You get this personal growth that you won't get elsewhere. We provide what you need. So if you want the electricity and a roof, you've got it. You bring to us, bring with you your pillow, your bedding, and a toothbrush, and the interest in having fun. And my staff and I put on all of the rest. Your youth, the Cubs in your pack, your sons, daughters will have this desire to just adventure, explore, have fun, make a creative use of their time. It's excellent. And then we take care of all the stuff like the meals, the quality campfire program, which is one of the cornerstones of any quality camping experience. If you haven't seen one of the staff campfires at Cub World, that's worth getting excited for right there. And then for you leaders, for you adults, I know it's 6:30, but there's always coffee on. If you need it, it's there for you because that's how the scouting leader world runs round. But let's touch on some of the facilities. Can we go for, okay. So when we say that it's not just traditional camping, if you haven't been to Cub World, and even if you have, the toilets flush, the showers are hot, we provide the mattresses. There are 4 campsites, 4 themed sleeping areas to include the fort, the castle, the miners' camp, and the Mountain Man Village. Not necessarily in that order. But if you want enclosed spaces with bunk-style beds, electric outlets, and fire extinguishers with an open and closing window right there ready to go, and a roof over your head, that's the castle and the fort ready to go for you. The restrooms are right there or right next door, and that's where your whole unit goes in, sets up shop with different sized rooms accommodating 6 to 8 people. Now, if you want more of the traditional camping style, we have the Mountain Man Village with treehouse-like platform flats stuck out on the hillside looking out over the middle canopy, and the Miners' Camp. Now, these give you canvas tents with cots and mattresses right there. Now, there is electricity close, but not as close as you would have it in the same room as the castle and the fort. So you choose your level of comfort. There's something for everybody. Every campsite or every one of these areas also has a flagpole, a water spigot, a fire ring right next door so that your pack can enjoy having their own campfires by themselves. And your restrooms are in very close proximity, or in some cases, right there in the same spot. Then there's the program areas. Remember we talked about shooting, the fishing, climbing, swimming? Oh, it's all good. So there are 2 different BB ranges where we focus on the safety first and the fun second. The same goes for our archery, traditional and action archery. One is a path through the woods. The other is a standard range. Safety first, fun second. 2 BB, 2 archery ranges, very nice. There's the sports areas with basketball, gaga, the chance to actually just get out and play and run. They have plenty of that. There's the pool, the highly sought after, diligently sought after, and highly esteemed aquatics. No experience at camp is complete without the ability to get in and get wet, to splash, to learn to play, and to learn how to be better and more confident swimmers. We will work with that for every group, all the way from your youngest tiger, all the way up through the grouchy old, been here 4 or 5 years, oh, the Weeblos and the AOLs that know the whole thing. We've got something for them too. As I gab babble, remember, if you have questions, feel free to post them. And then there's also fishing, which is a great way for us to set the figurative hook for scouting. Fishing's in high demand for all youth. And it's a great time. The fishing pond is right there, and it's one of our most popular activities. Then there's nature, there's the creek, there's different hikes, there's access to all the walks of camp and the fun that they'll have therein. So as we go through, you actually will have a chance to see some of the photos there. Now, the shower houses that we mentioned have separate showers for youth and adult. There are autonomous stalls with separate toilet showers and sinks for a comfort level for people of all ages, all walks of life, all abilities, you got it covered. You're safe, everything's good. Then finally, I guess we should also mention where your meals happen. If you haven't seen our very own custom, Francis, the Frisch's Big Boy, because the Big Boy Pavilion is right there. Francis has the Cub Scout uniform, and he hangs out with us for each of the meals that my staff and I will be serving to you and your Cubs all summer, along with the songs, the mail calls, the prayers, the grace, all of the fun that you would expect from your summer camp experience. It's waiting for you. I can't wait for you to come out and see it. It's going to be a good time. Yeah. Did I get it? Yeah. So there's some of the photos. Now, see, look at all the fun they're having. That kid, he's just grinning from ear to ear. There's my campfire. Right there at the amphitheater, which is right down the hill from the Big Boy Pavilion. And then there's a great showcase of the castle, arguably our flagship themed sleeping area. The staff for the fort, the miners camp, and the mountain man village would have something to say about that, but I'll let you weigh in. Some of you are old pros and have actually camped in all 4 areas. I'll let you weigh the pros and cons. There's no bad choice. They're all great. And I think Alex is going to tell you a little bit about the some of the cool stuff that's coming at you in the summer season.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So we have 2 programs that we're going to be offering this summer. We're going to do an adventure camp option. So that is our 3-day, 2-night session. It starts on either a Sunday or a Thursday, depending on your session, and ends on a Tuesday or a Saturday, depending on the session. We're also going to be offering a Weeblos camp. It's making its triumphant return for 2021. There was a huge amount of ask for this when we did our survey. So we're excited to offer it again. Begins on a Monday and ends on a Thursday. And we are only going to be offering 1 session of this. Now, I'm going to move on to our adventure camp updates for 2021. It's our most loved program with a new format. We're going to be doing a pack-based programming system. All the activities that you know and love are still going to be taking place during this, but we've changed up our approach to allow our scouts to stay together as a pack during their session. Pack's going to rotate together throughout the day, spending evening programs together and be given opportunities to build traditions as a unit during their time at camp. We also hope that this program update will remove a barrier for entry for units that have issues with leadership, with asking leadership to attend. There's still going to need to be one adult leader for every 5 youth and a minimum of 2 leaders for every group. For those with female campers, there has to be 1 female leader per unit. There are also going to be about 10 opportunities to attend that you can see up there. The cost on this is going to be $165 for a scout and $155 per adult. So these are the advancements we're planning on offering during this session. As you can see, there's a wide variety for all age groups. We're really excited about the program we've put together on this. And then this is an example schedule. So you're going to start check-in at 10 a.m. and you're going to depart at 8:30 on the day that you are done with camp. Now, Stammet, we're going to move on to Weeblos Camp.
Okay, am I still? No, okay, good. I unmuted myself and everything. So as Alex said, we're very excited to be so happy that all of the feedback that we've gotten has had such a big push for a program specifically tailored to your Weeblos and your AOLs. That's Arrow of Light. For those of you who aren't in on the jargon, I don't want to use TLAs, 3-letter acronyms, that might leave you confused. So the Arrow of Light and Weeblos are your older cubs, and wanting something specifically for the older ones gives the staff and I a lot of flexibility to deliver high tier fun that is better tailored for those older kids to hold their interest and whet their appetites for the adventure to come when they bridge over from your Cub pack over to a Scouts BSA troop. So they will, and I want to stress this, they still get all the fun favorites that they have known and loved at Cub World every year before this, including and certainly not limited to swimming and the shooting sports and the nature, the creaking, the gaga, all of it. They still get it, but we've kicked everything else up a notch. So extra stuff such as longer hikes, more camping. One of the hallmarks of Cub World for the Weebelos and the AOLs is the Outpost experience. Well, this year for the Outpost, we're actually going to be taking over larger chunks of the rest of the camp property. If you didn't know, Cub World is one of three camps on a 500-acre reservation. So your Weebelos are going to get to see larger chunks of camp, including having more access to Camp Friedlander, which is the camp that they will find themselves at next summer after they've moved from your pack over to a troop. So they'll get to experience a campfire at Camp Friedlander's fire ring, a night on the lake and at the lake at Camp Friedlander, enjoying the blob and the iceberg, new iceberg dang doodle that Alex and his staff get to play on all summer. A little bit jealous, just a smidge, but that's okay, because my staff and I will be coming up to Rampage with them and all of your Weebelos and AOLs for that evening. So a better chance to get more of a toothsome mouthful of good programming at Friedlander seems like an obvious win. So letting the youth have a meal in the dining hall, letting the youth see what a campfire is like up at Friedlander, that's a win-win. That way it takes a little bit of the scary part out of what happens when I go to a scout troop. Hey, now you have an idea. And letting them see how fun the staff is at Friedlander, what the grounds are like. Oh, it's right next door. It adds a level of comfort for not only your cubs, but also you all as leaders and the parents in your pack. It's a multi-purpose victory for all of us. Now, as Alex said, there is only one session. All of the other sessions that we've been doing, the adventures, are those 3-day, 2 nights, but this one, extra oomph, is the only 4-day, 3-night session that we're going for. And we very much want to stress that it's a first come, first serve, grab your spot, because the staff are champing at the bit to really, really put this one just out of the park. It's going to be really fun. We'll be focusing on more of the requirements from the, my Weebelos book isn't here. I'm holding Weebelos book. More of the requirements from the Weebelos book, and you'll get to really see, I'll focus on Castaway and Aquanaut for the aquatics piece. So the aquatic staff at Friedlander and Cub World are already working on that. Gives them access to, boating, life jackets, things like that. Still nothing on moving water, but yeah, no, it's going to be a really good time. The new Outpost, let's see, we touched on the new campfire program. It's going to be excellent. And the night on the lake at Camp Friedlander. Now, there's a cost difference because of the extra night. It's $210 for a scout and $70 for an adult, as opposed to the, what do you say, Alex, 55 for the adults? So It is more, and most of that's for meals. So we're trying to keep it reasonable for you, and most especially for your Cubs. And the only session that's being offered is the 2nd through the 5th of August. It's going to be a hoot, several hoots, maybe even a hoot and a holler. So there you are. Let's see. I think that covers it. I think. Okay. So advancements wise, I touched on some of this. I did mention Aquanaut, but since you probably aren't all holding and looking at your requirements book, Aquanaut is aquatics. It's aquatic safety. It's an intro to boating, safe swimming in the water to take away a little bit of the apprehension, because for some of your Cubs, let's just say they're more comfortable in a pool. So an exposure to a lake maybe maybe a little bit of a bigger adventure than you would expect. Heck, some of you probably prefer swimming in pools, so it'll be an adventure for everybody. Then Castaway is focusing on scout skills. Cooking in atypical manners. Have you ever made a brownie inside of an orange? It's actually really good. You'll have the chance when you come out. So alternative cooking methods, building shelters. That's Castaway. Don't think Tom Hanks, Wilson. I'm not going to strand your Cubs. It's more scout skills, knots, that kind of thing. Fire building, and a healthy thing of leadership. This is a big one for confidence boosting in the big scary woods. Your Cubs are really going to like this one and dig in. Then there's aware and care, because diversity is awareness, and understanding other citizens with special needs of all ages. There's no way to put enough value on that. And there's ways to do it and make it fun. And guess what? We're going to do it that way, the fun way. So, and there's more, certainly. We'll still be working on the Weeblo specific aquatics and shooting sports awards, but that's a pretty good sampling of what my staff and I intend to put on for your youth. So there you go. Here's our tentative schedule. Now, again, just because of weather, COVID, this is what I'm intending. We reserve the right to tweak this a little bit, but it's a pretty good one. As far as when you check in, still at the 10 a.m., we move in, help you get squared away, show you how meals work. Then it's pretty much straight into an afternoon of program. We're giving you enough time to set up shop in your campsites this time. Hey, more feedback of yours that we listen to. You'll have better access to the trading post more frequently. You'll have more time to spend more time together as a pack. In this case, with just your Weeblos and your AOLs, but your pack will get more time to enjoy each other's company around camp and in your campsites. And then we have healthy blocks of morning and afternoon programming for days 2 and 3 and 4, ending with that closing campfire so that your youth get to show mom and dad and grandmother and grandfather and all of their parents and leaders and adults all the fun that they've had. Which, you know how it goes. The parents or anybody shows up and the kids just talk a mile a minute because they can't communicate fast enough how excited they are of all those things that they've gotten to experience. It's a really cool feeling, actually. Or they want to, introduce the staff, that kind of stuff. So when all's said and done, if you have questions about this, again, let us know. I'm going to stop for breath for just a second. What's my next slide? Oh, theme. This is me, Alex. Yes. Good. Okay. So theme is important for Cub World. Now, yes, the main focus is the camp, being at camp itself. But if you've enjoyed any of our themes in the past, you have, then I do want to let you know that Enchanted Kingdom will be our theme this year, as it was intended to be last year. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. This one is pretty spot on. It's going to be a good time. So invite your young lords and ladies out to join us, and we'll be having a lot of the program will be themed Enchanted Kingdom flavored. Think more knights and chivalry, right living. We're steering away from the sorcery junk. Now, if you have questions about the program specifics, you say, man, you're talking a mile a minute. How am I supposed to spread this to the other parents in my pack, the other leaders in my pack, many of whom multiple hats? We have a lot of this program information out now. Between our resident all-purpose problem solver, super wizard, and solve your problems extravaganza wonder, Rachel, and Alex and I Alex and Jason putting up with me, a lot of the program information that you need, the dates, the times, the costs, the do's, don'ts, FAQs, is available now. It'll be available on the website. You'll be getting emails with information. And for all of the next wave of questions that the first round will inspire, this year for your ease, we're going to be doing several pre-camp meetings. You say, oh, Stammet, we're coming out in July, but what do I do if my parents have questions last minute? I'll do a meeting in June or 2 for the folks coming out in July. I'll do a meeting in May for the folks coming out in June, so that if the parents are like, do the toilets really flush? Why, yes, they do. Come try it out. That kind of thing. Do we bring a cup? Did you get rid of the styrofoam? That kind of thing. If anyone has questions, we will set up these meetings so that anyone can jump in, ask the questions, and we'll either get them right there, answered on the spot, or get the knowledge to you as quickly as we can. You know, if I don't know, I promise I'll find out from somebody that knows better than I do and get that information to you quickly. Now, I specifically requested, and again, Alex and Jason humor me a lot. The phrase I keep using is swim in, shoot at, and climb on things. You say, Stammet, what's with the climb on things? You tell them not to climb trees. If you were at Peterloon, last Peterloon, the bouldering wall that the Cubs enjoyed so much will be making its appearance in its new permanent home at, you guessed it, the bouldering wall is coming to Cub World. If you're not excited, you should be. It's not even tall enough that they can go ouch when they fall off of it. I mean, we'll still make sure that, you know, we're having instruction. Remember, spot with spoons, not with forks, spoons, not with forks, and they can climb and move back and forth. And when they're done, I'm recommending we just put it right there in the volleyball pit. So it's just sand right underneath. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you for mentioning the bouldering wall. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think safety. Yep, it's safety with Alex.
Yeah. So we're making a couple assumptions here, right? We understand that the COVID pandemic is ongoing and that we may need to alter our programming options for this upcoming summer. But as of right now, the state of Ohio has not changed any resident camp guidelines. So we are under the assumption that we can run a full season at this point. But again, as we did with last season, if necessary, we will make changes to keep everyone safe. So moving on there, we're going to talk about the refund policy. It's going to be similar to last year. The only change that we are asking for is for 30 days notice if you no longer plan on attending camp. Right now, you are able to sign up with no risk to yourself. That's our hope, is that policy makes you feel confident and still ready to come to camp this summer. So moving on to the frequently asked questions slide. Now, will we get to choose what campsite we stay at? Yep, absolutely. Each site has its unique qualities that make it desirable to units. Are all campsites indoors? Nope. The castle and the fort are both indoors, but Miners Camp and Mountain Man Village are outdoors. All have cots and mattresses, and the outdoor campsites provide their own tents. How many adults do I need to bring? 1 adult with every 5 youth, but a minimum of 2 per pack. Are they running water and hot showers? Yep. Cub World has multiple shower houses that are all equipped with multiple showers and water heaters. Running clean, drinkable water is available all over camp, and you should drink it. Mm. So moving on from that, let's move to the questions. Jason, you want to get us started on that?
Sure. So thanks everybody for asking your questions. I've got a fair list of them. So I'm going to work my way through them. If you find that by the time we get to the end, we have not answered your question, go ahead and hit me up in the chat. I'll do one last round. So I'm just going to work my way down the list, and Alex, Stammet, Rachel, there may be one of these in here for you, but so Alex, is the ratio of adults to scouts 1 to 4 or 1 to 5? There's been, I know we said 1 to 5 tonight, 1 to 4 is listed in some of the documentation. Can you clarify?
So it's going to be a ratio of 1 to 5. If it's in the documents anywhere, I do apologize. That must have been a mistype on our part.
Very good. Great. So 1 to 5 adults to scouts. Let's just go ahead and talk about individual campers while we're here. can an individual scout come to, we'll first start with Adventure Camp.
Yeah, individual scouts can absolutely come to Adventure Camp. We generally tend to find host units for them. Correct, Stammet?
That's correct. Then some of you have served as host units before, and what that looks like is if for whatever reason your scout was out of town on vacation when the rest of the pack decided to go camping elsewhere, or the other Weeblos weren't interested in this, for whatever reason, your cub could not attend in some other session, or they enjoyed it so much they wanted to come back for a second helping. That also happens with some frequency. We had one young man year before last that came back actually 3 times. So if you are so inclined, you get a hold of us and say, hey, I have a lone scout, a solitary Weeblo, and I sure would like to be able for this young person to come to camp. What do I do? We start calling around to the packs that are already registered. Some of you have already said, yeah, we've done it before. We have several good leaders and knowledgeable, friendly scouts who love to make friends and don't mind taking in, I won't call them a stray, say an adventurous youth who wants to come in. They'll introduce themselves, make that scout, your singular scout, feel welcome so that you have the peace of mind knowing that your youth from your pack is paired with a good kind of temporary host pack. Now, in this case, they'll stay with that pack. They'll rotate around. They'll get to make some friends. It's not even unheard of that they stay in touch with some of the youth. You know, they might know them from the same school system, that kind of thing. And we try to make sure it's a good fit. If it's not, we move to a different host pack. Usually we have several host packs each session, and it's never been an issue before. So to answer your question, yes, individual campers can come out. Being all by their lonesome is just a temporary challenge that we rectify quickly so that they can get to the real good part, which is having fun at camp. There you go.
All right. So follow-up question. How many scouts from a pack can come as individuals, or stated separately, at how many scouts can I send without having to send a leader?
All right. So the answer to that is you can have 1 scout come without leaders. They'll go to the individual unit. 2 scouts mean you do need to bring adult leadership.
Very good. Thank you. All right. So we already talked about the refund policy due to COVID, but I'll kind of hit on one thing with that as we get closer to the end. So will scouts get a discount for participation in the rally tonight?
This time around, we are not offering a discount for participation in the rally tonight.
Very good. So I know there are some other discounts available. So hopefully we can make camp accessible for everybody. Remember, there are camperships that we'll make sure to get out in the information to packs. So if there are any scouts that are in need of assistance to help pay for camp, we certainly have help for that available for everybody. So
yeah, and please use that help. I think that's an underutilized resource that we have.
Oh, understatement. Yeah, no. There have been so many seasons where all of the camper ships were not claimed. Some were, and that's great. But when there are unclaimed camper ships, that's a bummer, because fiscal difficulty or adversity should not be a reason for your cubs to not come to camp. We want to help. We want your cubs to come to camp.
All right, great, thank you. So how will we decide where a pack gets to stay, right? So I register for my pack for camp. We want to stay in the fort. How do I ensure that I get to stay in the fort? How does that work?
So it's on a first come, first serve basis. So if you want to get your spot, sign up quickly and make sure that there's enough space for your unit. Rachel, do you have anything to add on that one?
What I would add is be sure that you're registering your participants through your unit registration. When you sign them up as an individual participant, the assumption is that they are attending as an individual. So you will only be able to say what your preference is, you won't actually get to choose your sleeping accommodation.
Okay, thanks, Rachel.
All right, great. If I might restate that, maybe just so as I understand it, right, that when I register my actual people, right, so when I say I'm going to register Johnny Scout, Billy Scout, and, Timmy Dad, leader that are coming, that when I actually put them in, I'll have the opportunity to select housing that is still available, correct?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. All right. Let's see, is there an equipment or packing list available?
There will be in the coming days, if it's not up on the website already. Rachel and Stammet are feverishly working to get the guide finished and out to you guys as soon as we possibly can.
All right, great. Staying on the topic of housing, is it possible to use your own tent? Potentially I'm allergic to dust, or I'm just, don't like daddy long legs, whatever. Can I use my own tent?
Yes, you can.
Absolutely. Now, it's dependent on space and it's dependent on safety. Now, there's not unsafe areas of camp where I'd let you set up a tent, but if you are relatively familiar, there's a lot more opportunity to set up shop on level ground in some areas than others. And my staff and I will be happy to advise you to that end. So will I let you set up shop just put my tent right next to the parade field so I don't have to go that far for flag? No, we'll make sure that you're still in close proximity to the rest of your pack so that you're right there at that campsite area. So the answer is yes, you are allowed to provide your own housing. Some people just don't want to be in those canvas tents. Some people say, I love the canvas tents. I think they're great. I like the flowing air. Whatever works best for you. Happy to accommodate.
All right, very good. Thank you. So on the same theme, campsites for the Webelos camp. Are they all the same campsites? Are we using different campsites?
They are the same campsites that we offer at Cub World year-round.
Very good. So they'll use Miners Camp, Mountain Man, and if we need to, the castle and the fort. Yeah?
Yep.
Correct.
Very good. All right. How many people per site? So actually, maybe this is where I'll kind of chime in. I'm going to cover a bunch of questions here just at one time. And Alex, Stammet, maybe you can chime in as needed.
So you know those numbers probably better than
we are operating under the assumption right now that we're going to be able to operate a regular resident camp session just like we normally would in a summer kind of outside of COVID, right? We know that may not be the case, right? Nobody knows what's going to be happening in the future, but we've got a lot of time between now and then. And so, our operating assumptions now are that we're going to be able to fill the fort, fill the castle, just like any other time, right? Same with Camp Friedlander, right? We're planning on 2 people in a tent. We're planning on 2 people in a tent in Miners Camp, right? We're planning on being able to to utilize the dining hall or the dining pavilion in a very normal, I guess I say normal, but in our traditional way, right, where it's jam packed and everybody's in there eating and having a great time. Now we do know that it's possible that summer will get here and that won't be possible. And so we have contingency plans for how we would deal with food, socially distanced, how we would deal with housing in a much lower capacity. It's one of the reasons why we have so many offerings for adventure camp, so we can keep capacities low if we need to. So, there are, I'm hopefully capturing a lot of these questions all at once, right? So for right now, we are absolutely letting people register like the camp will be able to be full. If we get to the summer and that's not possible, we'll make adjustments and we'll make the pack whole and try to get everybody in. So hopefully that answered a number of those questions. I know we deal with the dining hall and like the limits to the campsite. There's also the question about sanitation between uses, right? I will admit that I am absolutely hopeful that that's not something that we have to do on any more than a normal, just kind of clean it up, like we normally would. However, we do have a very in-depth set of procedures that we built last summer. Though we didn't operate Cub World last summer, we did operate camp. And we did, very successfully clean and sanitize between programs, between groups, between uses, and we're prepared to do that again if we need to. So
absolutely,
yeah, we used a sanitizing spray that disinfects in that 15-minute window, so it would be around those same kind of guidelines.
So
we can't stress that last bit enough. And Jason, thank you very much for mentioning that, because with all of the uncertainty from last year, it was a huge comfort to us that we were able to completely safely offer a summer camp program to a reduced number of youth without any complications or issues to the staff, the leaders, the volunteers, the parents, or most importantly, the youth. Everybody stayed safe. And it was a really good feeling for Alex and I when we found out that we put the entire summer on completely safe. It was pretty satisfying. And if need be, we are absolutely prepared to do that again, erring on the side of safety for you and your Cubs. Yep.
All right, great. Thank you. I'm trying to capture some other questions coming out of the chat. All right, I'm going to move. Actually, so here's a food question. Can you deal with complex food allergies?
Yes, we absolutely can. Candle Dining Services is who does our summer camp food. They are more than prepared and ready to go to deal with these complex food allergies. They just request that you send in a form that lets them know when you're attending, your scout's name, that kind of stuff. I will have that form pretty soon. I actually have a meeting in the next week with them to get everything squared away for camp.
Yeah, they're a national outfit, and they're seasoned veterans at, if need be, we can go full zero cross-contamination for all sorts of things, not just the typicals. All you have to do is give us enough proper notice.
All right, I'm going to readdress the COVID question because another couple of questions came through. I want to, I guess, reiterate or restate what I said, right? That we are, absolutely optimistic, right? That by the time summer rolls around, that we're back to a kind of a normal state of the world, right? And that when people are thinking of coming to camp, that they don't have to worry about COVID, right? That doesn't mean that we haven't, put together a very complex and very complete set of procedures that would allow us to operate if things were like they were just right now, right? We were one of the very few camps that operated in the BSA last year, and we did so. We did so safely. Do I think that we can put together a resident camp program, even if we had to right now, and get a limited number of people in, house them, feed them, provide program for them, and do it safely? Yes. Our procedures that we developed with with the health department and our council health supervisor are able to do that. However, like I said, we're registering camp like it would be normal. I understand that not everybody is in the same places whether they think that we're going to be there come June or not. We just have to be planning both tracks, and we are planning both tracks. So, but what we're talking about today is kind of normal camp. So, so with that, I'm going to go back to some of these other questions, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping back between screens here. let's see, is there a minimum or maximum number of scouts who can attend? Assuming we have adequate leadership in place. I'll restate the question. If a pack has 25 scouts that they want to bring and they have 5 adults, can those 25 scouts come?
Yeah.
Or is there a cap?
There is not a cap. As long as you have the adult leadership that you can provide for it, yep, you're good to go.
Yeah. No, if you can manage to get enough Cubs in your one pack to fill up an entire session of summer camp all to yourself, consider yourself challenged. As long as you bring enough adults to meet the requirements, we'll do one just for your pack. Fill it up. Go nuts. Come on. Am I muted?
Hey,
no, I'm good.
You're not muted. Will there be a family camp option this year?
There will not be a family camp offering this year. Popularity was pretty slim in the last time that we offered this. So we decided to make more adventure camp options available along with the Weedlow's camp option.
Yeah. Okay. Another question is, will there be day camp available? So as optimistic as we are about being able to offer camps, we are planning or hoping to offer a day camp offering. However, what we can do on our own property is a lot easier to manage than what we can off-site. And right now, the off-site locations are not allowing us to make any reservations. So once we are able to kind of figure that out, then we will we'll kind of head down that road. So I don't have that answer for you yet. We're still working on it. So, okay. So I should have asked this when I was talking leadership requirements. What are the leadership requirements for Weeblos Camp?
Same as they are for Adventure Camp. So 1 leader for every 5 scouts, 2 minimum per unit.
Okay. And what if we talked about female scouts a little bit? I'll make sure I get this right. Can a dad or a father bring a daughter female scout to camp? And if we also, okay, stated differently, if we have a female scout attend, do we need a female adult leader?
Yes, you do need a female adult leader. A dad can bring a female scout as long as that unit is bringing a female leader.
Okay, so to clarify, even though it's a father-daughter relationship, you still have to have a female leader. Mm-hmm. Very good. And that coincides with our youth protection training. So, so let's talk a little bit about tigers. Can tigers come to adventure camp? Tiger Scouts? Can tigers attend adventure camp? Keeping in mind that the majority, all right, Alex, are we good?
Yeah, sorry. I was responding to a question that came up in my chat really quickly. Apologies. Yes, we can have tigers attend adventure camp.
Okay. Does a parent need to attend with each one?
Tigers a 1-to-1. So yes.
Does it need to be a parent or does this need to be an adult?
An adult partner.
I believe it needs to be an adult partner. Yes. I'll be happy to check and confirm on that one, and apologies for not being able to crack that one off the top of my head. But yes, I believe
you're right.
1-to-1.
Okay. Right, you are correct. It is. It just needs to be an adult.
Whew, good question. Jason, while you are, while we're on the subject of leadership, having all of you with all of the parents in your pack is hugely important to my staff and I for being able to make sure that enough adult leadership is present for all of the Cubs to get the experience that they deserve. And I will say that I do still have a few staff positions open. So for those of you parents who have, or leaders who have, say, maybe a good den chief that interacts with your pack from the troop that feeds up to, if you have any youth, teenagers starting at 14 and going up to, say, 114. If you get a 115-year-old to apply, I'll make an exception. But we do still have a few staff positions open. And then that doesn't mean I'm going to hire them right away, but I do invite your teenagers, 20-somethings, you yourselves. We have a few teachers that come out and work with us during the summers, just as they are wont to. I want to make sure that we really get the right staff group together for this summer. This will be the 20th operating season. And with the improvements that we're making to the system, I really am excited that the staff that are here are coming back. Many of you know and love the great B. Haggard, who will be joining us again as my program director. And then a lot of the same good, just the right flavor of staff lunatic that you see around camp that love to play and laugh and adventure with your Cubs are joining us again. Admittedly, it was a big blow that we couldn't, Alex and I, and Alex will speak to this as well, between Friedlander and Cub World, there were so many staff members that we could not hire for the summer of 2020 that are so excited to come back to camp to work with your youth in 21. It's going to be a good time. But if you have anyone that you think would be the right sort to join me on staff, we are doing staff interviews ongoing. So my contact information is there, and send them to me, have them come to the website at danbeard.org and apply under the camp staff part if they want to work. You'd be amazed how much fun your kids are when they're not in your house on the couch all summer. And I'll even give them the time off to go and attend a high adventure base or to serve as a camper with Alex up at Camp Friedlander. So kind of a win-win. Plus I'll feed them and I'll pay them and they get scholarship opportunities. Okay, that's my camp staff plug. Thank you.
All right, so we got a few more questions. I want to make sure that we get everybody's questions asked. So the next question got asked about lions, whether lions can attend adventure camp. And that one's pretty clear. The answer on that one is no, unfortunately. So the age-appropriate guidelines for lions don't allow for camping, but we'll gladly bring them or let them come to camp next year when they're a tiger. Stammet, will there be any kind of one-day checkout camp options, kind of like Tiger Treks was for the younger scouts? Are we planning anything like that for the future?
My official response is stay tuned for updates. My expanded response is that, yes, I want you to be able to come out. Hang on, did it just minimize? I can't see you anymore. There you are. My official response is that I want you to have the opportunity to come out and figuratively kick the tires at Cub World to let the youth, the parents who have never been, who have been every year since the place opened in 2000, everything in between. I want you to be able to come out. Now, am I going to guarantee that we'll be able to get an official event? No, I don't have a way to promise you that yet, because again, our ability to operate large events at camp hasn't changed since the summer, and we have to adhere to federal, state, local, county, and scouting guidelines. So my compromise for you would be that between now and summer, there are a few weekend camping options somewhere on the camp property. Now, Cub World is shut down. The shower houses are closed, and I don't have any open restrooms, which is why you could not get on and book the castle or the fort yet. We do intend for reservations to open back up for things like BB and archery as soon as the summer's over in the fall. So go ahead and look forward to that, and the registration will be opening soon for that. But you can come out, bring groups of not more than 10, get a campsite here at Friedlander, and then the grounds are yours to peruse and stroll in a scout-like and respectful manner. So we have hiking trails going all over the property, and I have had Cub packs that have said, well, we've got 20 kids. We'll take 2 campsites, provide leaders for both, keep them separate, and then have them go and hike down to Cub World just so that we can see how much fun we're going to have this summer. I'm not making it up. That's exactly how it works, and it works out really well. Plus, all the campsites up here still have a fire ring, a flagpole, and a water spigot. So come on out. So stay tuned. If we can put an event together, we will. Otherwise, book a campsite for the weekend, especially once the weather starts getting warmer, and we'll see you not quite soon enough right here at camp.
All right, great. So to clarify, we are working on some potential options for after summer, but we don't have anything yet on the calendar. I'm going to throw in another question or actually answer to a question because you already gave it. Reservations for Cub World, so renting a facility in Cub World will not be available until after the summer season. So
that is currently the answer I'm giving. Yes, sir.
So that is currently our mode. That may change, but right now that is what we're working towards. This question came up again, so I'm going to reiterate. There won't be family camp opportunities in the summertime, but just like we're working for a young scout opportunity on some weekends in the fall, we're also looking to put together some family camping opportunities as well. So much more information to come on that. We don't have anything actually on the calendar. So we're scrolling back up through these questions. Are siblings welcome at the Friends and Family Campfire?
Yes.
Great. I'm going to ask this question like it was asked in the chat. Are dragons welcome? Meaning drag along scouts.
I was going to ask you,
I'm sorry, I couldn't. So wait, let me reiterate. Sorry, I just couldn't help. It was funny. Are young siblings welcome at Adventure Camp or Weeblos Week? I'm assuming this is more Adventure Camp. I can tell you how we've answered this in the past.
Would you please?
Very good. The answer to that question is typically no. Right. If it is, if there are some extenuating circumstances, I'm talking like 3-year-olds, right? If you have older scouts that want to attend as den chiefs, absolutely. If you want to have, if you have younger scouts that are wanting to attend, fortunately, those are probably lions, right? And they can't come, right? And so that's where we kind of wrote into that rub. So if you have leadership concerns or issues or something, please let us know. But unfortunately, right now in the adventure camp setting, siblings are very, very, very challenging. I will reiterate, as it comes to lions, because this came back up a couple of times. When I said lions cannot attend, those are lions those are kids that are going to be going into kindergarten the following fall, right? So if they were a lion, in the school year leading up to the summer, by the time summer camp happens, they become tigers. So did just want to clarify that you got thrown out a couple of times on the chat. For those of you that threw that out there, you are correct.
Thanks, Dave. I had that question come up a few times on my chat as well.
So here's an interesting one. Can a scout who missed Cub World last year, who is now too old and no longer a Cub Scout, attend Weeblos Week?
No, but they are more than welcome to come up and attend a session at Camp Friedlander with me.
So for the person that asked that question, and it's kind of way up there in the chat, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that. I echo Alex's answer. It's absolutely the right one. But having a kid that went all the years to Cub World, I understand where you're coming from, where they missed out on that last year. So we may be willing to put together something for your pack that might fit that need. So okay.
Yeah, please get in touch with us.
Scout. Okay, so you want to talk about Outposts a little bit, and will adults be attending Outposts this year, or will we be providing more staff to help? It sounds like there's going to be a lot more kids on Outposts.
So both, actually, yes, we will be asking some of the adults to attend Outpost, especially on Weeblos Week. It's going to be a much larger production than we have in the past. Sam, I think you're muted. So it's going to be a much larger production than we've had in the past. So we probably will be asking some adults to attend that. Now, it'll also be an all hands on deck kind of thing for our staff there as well. We're looking for a full day of programming up at Camp Craig, more so than just having the Outpost. So, Sam, you have anything you want to add on that?
That's correct. So one of the other questions that we've gotten frequently is that all of the adventures will still have an outpost. There's some stuff that we're keeping. It ain't broke, don't fix it type stuff. You know, the youth really look forward. They spend summer after summer looking forward to the outpost that they get to go on. So there are times where grown-ups from the pack have made an appearance or have assisted with Outpost. Oh, for those of you who aren't familiar, so Outpost is one evening each adventure during the 3-day, 2-night sessions where the older Cubs, your Weeblos and AOLs, they don't stay the final night in their traditional campsite. Some of the staff take them not far away, but off and up the hill to separate campsites elsewhere on the property and put on a special program and do an overnighter with snacks, songs, that kind of thing. And then they come back down the hill in time for morning flag and have breakfast with the rest of the camp again. But it's an overnight experience away from the rest of the camp. It's seen as a big reward, a special treat. It's the pinnacle experience for many of the Cubs. Some of you who have den chiefs in your pack will know that many of the youth that experience it say that's the capstone, keystone experience of Cub scouting at Cub World. So thank you for asking me to define Outpost. So during the adventures, we will still have an Outpost program because your Weeblos can come to any of the sessions, any of the 10 sessions of summer camp or the Weeblos session. But as opposed to just the Outpost that you already know and love, we wanted to kick things up several notches. So the lion's share of the staff in camp will be operating that day out of Camp Craig, in which case, yes, the adults will come along because A, you're going to want to see it. B, we'll need all sorts of, the same things we always need. Having adults around makes the experience better for everybody because the attention span of Cubs is exactly what you all know it is. You've all been at this longer than I have. Mine's not even 2 years old. We'll be in March. It's coming up. It is coming up. Yeah.
All right. Great. Thank you. We got a few more questions that we want to tackle here. So I'm going to hit on the youth protection thing here again. So we did clarify and this gets into, it gets confusing because when you're dealing with females and males scouts versus whether or not male leadership is required versus female leadership is required. So I'm going to try to put this out here clearly as I can. So if you have a female scout that is attending camp, you must have a female leader also in attendance, even if one of the adult leaders is the father of the female scout. And I did just clarify that. I did, verify that. In contrast to that, if you have all male scouts attending and all female leaders, that is acceptable. You can bring male scouts and female leaders. You do not have to have an adult male leader in attendance. We'd love for you to have one. You don't have to have it. If you have,
did we see the sexist answer to that?
John, I thought you were off the meeting. I'm sorry. I was
no, I'm back. I'm just asking, do we see the sexist answer to that?
Actually, John, I was going to ask if I could share this with you privately. I do have all of the documentation on that. So why don't we jump into a breakout meeting here when we finish up here? Give us just a second.
No worries. Kick me off again, no worries.
So will scouts be grouped into small groups? Yes, we group small group, for rotation. In fact, this year we're going to group them as a pack, right? So we'll group scouts from your pack together to rotate, right? As opposed to doing it by age group. So that is one of the benefits of the changes that we're doing this year. So there's Lions, there's that. Family weekends. I'm sorry, I'm trying to capture everything here. Oh, Jeanette, yes. So Webelos Camp is not necessarily a drop-off camp, right? It is, we're still going to ask for your parent, for leadership to attend. However, the program is much more focused on the Webelos and the AOL age group. So leadership and stuff is still required. It is still a kind of a rotational camp. But there are going to be some opportunities for the scouts to have a little bit more interaction away from adult leadership, but not quite the same as Camp Freelander, where they're just running amok. Not running amok, but they're off completely on their own. So Jeanette, hopefully that answered your question. Let's see here. I'm gonna. I think I've captured them at this point. Marnie, I think is that's one I'm gonna ask you to reach out to us directly. So Alex, if you'll make sure you share our contact information, that's one of those individual cases that I think we can work with that will just kind of help out. So Alex, if you don't mind, I'm gonna pop off and into a breakout room unless you need me for something specific.
No, I think we're good to go. Everybody give me about 2 seconds to post our contact info in the chat really quickly, and then I will get going on the rest of this. So give me 2 seconds.
While Alex is on that, folks, I'm very grateful for the questions. And thanks. I know that brevity is not my strong suit. I am so happy. I started off by saying thank you for being here, and I can't stress that enough, because your Cubs, you want it, but your Cubs deserve to get outside. And I know that it's an Ohioan winter right now, but after last year, we want you all back out at camp. Camp is happiest when there are people in it. Alex, I believe right now you're sharing the contact info.
I did it, yeah.
And it's on the website. It's in the camp guides. I can count on one hand the number of times I've left camp this year. I know it's still January, but it's there. There you go. Alex is switching over to the deadlines, so I'm just really happy that you all are taking the time. And if you think of other questions 30 seconds after the meeting ends, that's fine. Reach out to us, and we'll get you the knowledge that you need. Scouts on it. We'll figure it out.
Yep. So I just wanted to go over a couple of deadlines really quickly. March 31st is going to be our slushy deadline. And then May 15th is going to be the deadline for early bird pricing. After that, prices increase by $15 per scout. And registration is live today for units and individual scouts. You can check out all the options at danbeard.org/cubcamp. Now, Stammet, I think you covered most of this, didn't you?
I did. Okay. Yeah. So, camp staff, I did cover this. And Alex, I'm glad that you mentioned the dates. Folks, I know that everybody's finances their own business, but pennies make dollars, and scouting is not supposed to break the bank. It's supposed to be affordable, because your scouts, your Cubs, your youth, your kids deserve scouting, and it needs to be at a reasonable price, especially compared to sports. But that $15 makes a difference. So please, if you need to pay attention, if you want to, you can, Alex, you can even go back to that last slide to make sure that you know those dates. Yes, you and your youth want a free slush puppy, but more than a free slush puppy, a free slushy, the sugar gunk, the cold syrupy, yes, that. I do want to make sure that you know that get in by May 15th before the price goes up, because that's a t-shirt that your kid could have or more to take home. It makes a difference, and it adds up, especially for those of you with larger packs, So there you go. Thank you, Alex. And we can go back to hang on. I got a question. I don't know if it was to me or to everybody. So, Jeanette, you want to shoot me a text? I'm happy to answer that. I got a question in regards to BB Rangemasters. If you in your pack have trained BB or archery Rangemasters, we offer that training traditionally several times a year. It is free to you, and it lasts as a 2-year certification. And it allows you as an 18-year-old or older leader to help run the BB and archery ranges at Cub World or at a council level event. You can't go behind the church fellowship hall and shoot archery. Please don't ever do that. For the love of all things good and tasty, don't. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'm happy to provide. It's a lot easier to have the ranges rented to you if you bring your own Rangemaster. So Jeanette, table it for now, if you please, and thank you kindly. I also have some cast iron questions for you because, you know, you're just one of my cast iron buddies. So rentals, I think we touched on. Yeah. The offerings are not as diverse as they usually are. Right now, I can't book out the heated staff cabins. Right now, I can't book out the climbing tower or let you rent a canoe or as much stuff as you deserve. But if you just want a campsite and you just want even to come out for the day, you can still hike, you can still fish, you can still take a whack at the orienteering course. It's here for you. Camp is here for you. So put on an extra pair of wool socks, grab some mittens, get all the leaders that you need, and bring your cubs out. If you have questions, qualms, complaints, or concerns on how to do that, Alex has posted my contact information, and by George, I will get back to you. Maybe even soon. Try my best. So there you go. Contact me and send me your teenagers. I will hire some of them. We do still have a few spots, and I'd love to have that conversation about making sure that Alex and I have the right staff for your cubs to get the best experience.
Sam, you want to close us out here?
Well, I mean, I'm enjoying myself. It's nice to socialize. Don't get me wrong, deer and turkeys at camp are fun, but it's nice to see you all. If you're all looking at the screen that Alex is presenting, then you'll follow along with me. But the confidence of being outdoors and enjoying themselves at camp, the self-reliance that your youth are going to get will be more prevalent, and you will see more of it this year because your pack stays together. So the big strong bears and the old kids that, you know, have been here for a cajillion years will have more of a chance to show their younger siblings and their younger friends, the wolves and the tigers, what camp is and how it works. Staying together as a pack is going to be so good for so many reasons. And I can't stress enough how badly I want you to come out to camp. Make sure that the parents and the leaders in your pack know, yes, we will do this safely, even if we have to cut our numbers down like last year. Hope that we don't, but just in case, we'll do safety first, fun second, guaranteed. Yes, your kids will have fun. My staff can't wait. You are receiving or should have received or will receive an email with the documents that are relevant, with the information that we've given you. And if you have other questions, it will give you the tools to ask us to get the knowledge that you need. Registration's live right now for Weeblos, the Weeblos adventure, for all of the 10 adventures for the entire summer of 2021. Your whole pack, half your pack, one kid, anything in between. Registration is open across the board. The sooner you grab your spot, the happier you will be. It's one more thing you don't have to worry about. Grab it now. Plus, it's cheaper to reserve now, and the slushy puppies, the sweet cold sugar gunk that those kids love, hummingbird level stuff, it's there. The quicker you jump in, the more benefits and perks you're going to have. And I'm here for you all, y'all collectively. I'm from North Carolina. I can y'all. I'm here for you if you need it. So thank you all for your time. Thank you all for the consideration. And we're really, really glad that you decided to join us tonight. And I don't have anything else for you. So enjoy the rest of your evening if you have anything to say about it.
All right. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. Have a good night.